Okay, coming up next is a very powerful discussion that I am personally very enthusiastic to hear all about. In this joint talk, we would love to welcome Mr. Ashraf Bacheet and Mark Hanna, who will present the future of healthcare, AI's promise and the challenges ahead. Both Mr. Ashraf and Mark Hanna are the founders and CEO of O7 Therapy. They will explore how AI is revolutionizing diagnostics and treatment, while also addressing privacy, regulation, and ethical implementation. A must attend for anyone interested in the future of digital healthcare. Please, let's all give them a warm welcome, Mr. Ashraf and Mr. Mark.
كوركشن بسيط جدا.
Thank you.
فجأة أنا وأشرف بقينا business partners بس. So
I wished.
يا ريت. So maybe we'll take this moment. Ashraf Bacheet, founder and CEO of O7 Therapy الحقيقي. وأنا Mark Hanna, founder and CEO I guess of the ARC Solutions and حاجات كتيرة تانية. يمكن بس كده بس طبعا I'd love to be a business partner. نتكلم في shares شوية. Thank you everybody for attending. أشرف عايز ابتدي يمكن كده نبينج بونج في الأول. احنا سؤال سريع. Are we all English, all Arabic mix؟ عربي براحتنا؟ ماشي. طيب.
نسأل. I think that's a good way to do it. Anyone does not speak Arabic?
There's also the live stream. So are we, because of the live stream, we have to do it in English?
Okay.
Okay, great. ماشي. All right, preferably, and we'll translate in the middle. Cool. Ashraf, let's start كده so we can share a little bit about ourselves.
And correct with the introduction titles.
Ashraf, what brought you here today?
So what brought me here is a very big question. I'll try to give you the 30-second answer to it. I'm a pharmacist by background. I studied pharmacy at Cairo University. And I've always been interested in technology as a kid, so I really wanted to study computer science, which was a big thing back then. So I simultaneously wanted to study computer science at AUC, and I managed to do that for only 1 year, and then I dropped out because I couldn't do it. I couldn't do both. So I became a pharmacist, and I did not really... I was not the anticipated pharmacist to go into that business, so I started my first company away from the pharmaceutical field when I was still in college. I worked in very different industries. Mm-hmm. I never left my love and my passion for technology. Mm-hmm. Many years later, I went back to grad school. I didn't want to do MBA, but what I did was I did Masters in Technology Entrepreneurship from School of Engineering at University of Maryland, which is a very hardcore technology degree. And ever since I was interested in the intersection of healthcare and technology-based startups, and I understand that very well. I worked as well as in consulting, marketing, design, nonprofit. I worked in very, very diverse fields, which ended up with my own startup.
Okay, very cool, very cool. I guess I'll answer the same question. What brought me here?
Please. I think you have a more interesting answer.
We'll see. We'll let the audience decide. So hi, I'm Mark Hanna. I studied software engineering in university in Canada, university called McMaster, and worked in BlackBerry a little bit during the time where Barack Obama had a BlackBerry, and that was kind of the claim to fame that the president has a BlackBerry. And then, fun fact: whenever BBM would go down, my friends would call me very Egyptian joke. They'll tell me like, "Rastar router," restart the router when BBM would go down. And then I worked in consulting companies for a little bit, for 4 years, and then around 2016, so around like 5 years into my career as a software engineer and a project manager. When God flips up your life. My company I was working at wasn't doing so well, so I got laid off on a Friday morning, and that was one of the best things that ever happened to me because, again, God just opened the door for me. It's one of those big life events to come to Egypt, and filmmaking was always a passion of mine. So then I came to Egypt and I started working as exploring the route to become a film director, and that's what happened for the past 9 years. I've been a film director here in Egypt. And then 2 years ago, when AI started becoming a thing, my love for tech was deep since I was a kid as well. I started investing in how can I use AI to help me with my creative process as a filmmaker and as a director and as a creative. And then I started, because my background in software engineering, I started writing tools, building tools when ChatGPT came out with like using their APIs and whatnot. Started building tools, custom tools to help me with my creative process. And then that kind of began my journey with AI in the creative world. And then just a few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, I started a company called the Arc Solutions that does AI automation and AI consultancy for really anyone and everyone, but I'm kind of focusing right now on the creative space. So yeah, it's kind of my story, and that's what brought us here. That being said, introductions aside, let's kick it right in with Ashraf. Health tech and really AI has just infiltrated every market in the world. I think we can all agree with that. And it is an event equated to the size of the discovery of the internet. So let's assume that never happened. Let's assume there is no AI. Where would health tech be going without AI? Maybe in 30 seconds.
I mean, there's historic medicine pre the phase of the science evidence-based approach that has been around for more than 50 years or 70 years now, and then there is what they call health 2.0, which has developed then, which is everything needs to be evidence-based, everything needs to be you have to do the right clinical validation and clinical research to go out with any kind of claim or hypothesis in a medical procedure. And that has been there. And then that had a very, very solid trajectory of growing the understanding of the human body, how it works, illnesses, how they hit us, and how we can avoid them or make things better.
Okay.
And then how I would describe it, two big things happened. One big thing is a hardcore medical advancement, which is the evolvement of medicine 3.0, which is irrelevant of AI.
So what is, in a one line, like what is medicine 3.0?
Medicine 3.0 is the approach of understanding that our health is not about dealing with sickness or illnesses and trying to approach them and trying to find a way around them, but rather a preventative, longevity-based, holistic wellness approach to human well-being and health.
Okay, you said like 5 big words there. Longevity, wholeness, and maybe 3 other words so we're looking at 3.0. 3.0 is looking at preventative.
Exactly.
So how can medicine prevent you from getting into the illnesses? Quickly, what is longevity? What does longevity mean?
If you look it up, like the word longevity literally means to live longer. But in reality, when we use this word in the medical context, we don't mean to live longer, because most of us probably would believe that the length of the person's life when he was born and when he would die has other spiritual and religious connotations and causalities to them, rather than thinking it's all in my hands to decide when my son was going to be born or when I will die. Okay. In most cases, it's not in our hands. But it is somehow, the definition here is not about adding years to your life, but rather is about adding health to your years. To live healthier longer. It's not just about to live longer.
That's a really good quote. If anybody wants to tweet that, I would totally take that. Okay, so health 3.0. This is where medicine was going before AI.
This is where medicine is going in 2025. We're talking about a very, very, very recent shift and approach that I personally believe is a game changer. I personally believe it's one of the most important advancements in medicine in modern history. That whole approach. But that approach would be and is currently out there and is an extremely expensive practice because it's based on going to extremely expensive physicians who understand data science and understand public health and understand epidemiology and understand aging, geriatric medicine, and understand biology very, very well, and statistics really well. And they would look at your files, at your readings, at everything to do with your health, and give you good advice.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. That's amazing. That's amazing that this is where health is going. Now, let's add AI into the mix.
Yeah.
What?
Sorry, Mark.
Yeah.
This has been happening, and this is irrelevant of the AI.
Irrelevant of AI. Okay, well, that's great. So now, what I want to know, and what maybe the audience wants to know with this is, how is AI changing the game? So Health 3.0 changed the game, revolutionary change. Now let's add AI to the mix. How is it changing?
Let's first add AI to traditional evidence-based medicine, and then think how the new mix could look like.
Okay.
If you add AI layer we added AI layer already since 10 years ago, when it was very, very nascent, before it was sexy and attractive and everyone wants to look at those tools. There have been companies that have been working with, for example, radiology imaging, looking at the digital imagery in radiology and trying to identify what basically a trained human doctor would look at those photos or pictures of those radiology films or scans, and would identify a certain abnormality, a size of a tumor, would go in and measure it, and based on the measurements, the colors, the density, and everything else he gets to measure, companies were trying to build tech-based solutions that would identify this automatically. A, to lower the cost. B, to make it faster. C, to mitigate human error.
And how they were doing that, I'm just going to add in a little bit. How are they doing that? It's through machine learning, because machine learning has been around since I think the one of the earliest versions of a self-driving car was in the 80s. Because it was machine learning, and they were teaching that. There's actually very interesting. I'll do a little. I think it was Stanford or MIT, where they were teaching a car how to drive. So it was reading a path of a straight line in the car, and a driver would teach it to steer left or steer right to stay on the line. And that was kind of the data points. And then from that, they actually built a self-driving car. But of course, it's just driving in a straight line. So can't really work in Egypt. We don't have straight lines, but they were able to do that starting 10 years ago because of machine learning. I think today when we say AI, everybody thinks ChatGPT and Google Gemini and all that stuff, but actually the core of AI, or what's kind of behind the curtain, is machine learning. And that's been around. That's been a concept that's been around forever. Okay, so a while ago, they started using artificial intelligence technology, let's call it that, in health. What about the last couple of years? Because I think now with the rise of ChatGPT and mainstream AI, everybody is now saying, oh wow, what can we do with this? So maybe that's the question to you. What is the, oh wow, we can do this item or thing today with health?
Yeah, so given, as I explained, with traditional evidence-based approach to medicine, there are endless use cases that we can all imagine, like research, clinical trials, data analysis. All of that can happen much, much faster, and to cost us much less money, effort, and time. And time is obviously one of the most crucial factors in this case. And then it would lower clinical trial time, it would lower access to market, it would lower, when something is, a new advancement is out there, the commercialization and how it actually comes to market. And this means saving lives, basically, because some people cannot reach the point where it's available. If we add the preventative approach to medicine to the amount of data points that we have and know about ourselves, like every single person knows already about himself, and you think about if there was a bucket where I could, if I can just go on my free ChatGPT account and I dump it with every data point I have and I know about myself, I will already create value. Little, but I will create some value.
Yeah.
I would show it all my health data that my Apple Watch is collecting. I would show it how I sleep, heart rate, recovery,
your exercise,
what I exercised. To start with,
this is
how many steps?
Yeah.
The general health data, and then I can also add to it which medications I take, when I take them, which day I missed, and then I can add to it any lab work, any scans I do, any outcomes, any doctor appointments, any reports, any surgical reports I had years ago, and I add all of that and I ask it some questions about things. You will be surprised that it can even predict what's next with me.
Yeah.
Okay, but then this is very, very generic. Companies like for Google, for example, they created very advanced models.
Models, yeah.
Like MedPalm, where it's like a whole a model, a machine learning model that is focused on medical outcomes and understanding, and it has read libraries and libraries of research, and it understands basically what the most educated physician on earth have studied, have access to. Okay, and then you dump all of this data, and then it can give you very valuable suggestions if you know how to do that.
So let me ask you that, because I think that's something we're probably all wondering. Because I think, maybe by show of hands, how many people have used ChatGPT to tell it, I'm feeling a certain way, or I have a pimple somewhere, or something like that? Yeah, like show of hands, how many have used ChatGPT for a unofficial medical consultation? Kida.
And Egyptians have used Google for ages.
I mean, not just Egyptians, the whole world. The very famous WebMD, you tell it anything, it'll tell you have cancer. طبعا بعد الشر علينا كلنا. So I think that's for a consumer, everyday person, that's one thing I'm thinking about, especially if this tool is giving me good enough results in everything else. So my question to you is, what is stopping us? Or what needs to happen for the everyday person to have access to something that they can ask it a question about themselves, and I get a viable answer that will save me time. It will save me going to the doctor. I'll have an instant interaction with it. Yani, tell me, like, let's think about this, or tell me your thoughts on that.
My thoughts would be very unpolitical answers. Mm-hmm. I think the legal frameworks don't, globally, I'm not talking about Egypt, of course, I'm talking globally, and I'm talking about the US before anywhere else. Yeah. The legal frameworks do not understand and cannot deal with these advancements fast enough.
Well, okay, just a quick, what does that mean, the legal frameworks?
Do you remember when they took Mark Zuckerberg to
like the Senate,
Senate hearing for the Senate House? You remember the kind of questions they asked him? Yeah,
they were very elementary questions. What is a connection? What is a friend request? What, like, things like that. I don't know. I don't remember exactly.
The questions were not that smart.
But the questions were, yes, it was
not even that smart. Like,
were very elementary. Let's call it that.
Okay. So the problem is, these are the decision makers,
and these are at the top.
Not only at the top of making decisions, but these are also the people who lobby with the big pharma, who have big reasons of why to make things work in a certain direction.
Okay.
And this is big. This is not like a under radar relationships, like lobbyists and companies that do those kind of things to get FDA approvals and to get things through in Washington DC are legal entities that make it for a living.
Okay.
So we know this world exists, and we understand that these things there is a huge interest of why they should remain as stagnant and as old-fashioned as they are today.
Okay, so then that answers that question. So the first part of your answer, as you were saying, is why can't we have a medical GPT that I'm going to just ask it and it's going to give me real good results, even though we have machine learning models that can give us things like that? The first part of your answer is the legal framework is not there.
It's not allowing.
Is not allowing it. Okay, cool. I think we got that part.
Because we need to leave it. We need to leave it long enough that we have built confidence in it. There are like machine learning hallucinations happen, but I can assure you that medical doctors make more errors.
Yikes!
Like, it's just human. It's human, and we make errors.
The human error probably is
would
be a lot more than a machine error. Okay, طيب, let's say, for the sake of the conversation, the lobbying and the legal framework, we get past that. What's the next barrier to entry for us to have our own medical GPT that we can just ask it and it will give me good, actionable, reliable advice?
It's the time we need to spend, as I said, to trust it. We need to spend time to validate the models. We need to spend time to train the models more. And this is why the bigger advancements that happen out there are not generic. They're not like, I have these symptoms, give me a medical opinion. The more successful models are very specialized models that have been trained on a very specific problem, a very specific medical problem that a very, very specialized person is usually trained for them.
Yeah.
So you give them
So
narrower,
it's able to focus.
the narrower يعني training doctors, training physicians to become a good GP takes a lot of life experience and maturity.
Yeah, it's not just knowledge.
Exactly. It's not just science knowledge.
It's not just science. Yeah,
not
that's
just
what I meant.
medical knowledge.
Yeah.
It's like health. It's like common sense. It's understand. Oh, Mark, I think he's tall. He might have this problem. He connections between your lifestyle. Something you said when you went in. How someone goes in with a loved one or with a caregiver. You understand things from the relationships, from the contexts of things. All of this is teachable. But all I'm saying is the model is extremely diverse and wide.
Yeah, it's not more than just text that it can like know every factor that contributes to this. There's a human element that requires not just IQ but EQ as well.
And they,
to a certain degree, of course.
But the claim is that we can also make machines have more EQ and they can have more. They have more emotional understanding of our emotions and so on. But what I'm saying is, it's very, very complex with a lot of with extremely wide, big number of data points.
So I think also another part of that is maybe in the medical field, AI is really touching human life. And I think that's something that's, because human life is the most valuable thing. I think we can't obviously, we can't treat it very easily and very quickly, hence why clinical trials take a long time. And so as we kind of maybe look at, and maybe this is the kind of the final part of the conversation because of the time, we look at the ethical dilemma that comes with AI in the health space. And maybe I want to ask you a specific question relating it to longevity that we said in the beginning of the conversation. What if we can use AI to prolong life? Okay, I think we can all agree that's a good thing. Prolong the life of a loved one. But what if the AI advancements take us to a place where we can not just prolong life, but we can bring life back? How do you feel about that?
I would feel bad about it, but that's very personal opinion. You know, there's a concept in longevity. It's called escape velocity. Like longevity, escape velocity. What does that mean? It means that you want to prolong a sick person's life for as much as possible. Just hold in there, hang in there, as there is a specific medical advancement or research that will bring this new medicine to the market, and it's coming out in 6 months, so maybe we can extend this patient's life for 8 months, and it means that he has a chance. Okay, basically that's the naive example of explaining it. And the world already sees, the scientists can already see that we are heading towards the solution of many of those reasons of why people die.
Okay.
And we can, so coming to the end of life, basically think of it like gliding down. Okay. You can glide very fast. Tayyara, like a kite with no engine, but you're just gonna be gliding on the air. Think of the mechanics of it. You can do it in a very efficient way. You can definitely make it glide slower, or you can just drop like a piece of rock.
Yeah, gravity.
خلاص. This is exactly what we're trying. We have a lot of knowledge that's making us glide, but there is more knowledge that's making us, giving us solutions at some points. So it's basically a game of slowing down the aging process, which is the decline of our general health, which starts happening in the middle of our life.
Yeah, but okay.
So I know I haven't answered your question. Your question was if we can bring someone back to life
using AI medical breakthroughs.
There is a health tech startups that deep freezes human beings while they're still alive but terminally ill, and they have no hope. So instead of putting them on a ventilator or letting them die, they would take their bodies while they're still alive and deep freeze them for an infinite, because none of them has been defrosted yet, with the claim of that they will have the ability in 5, 10,
15,
maybe
20.
50 years bring them back from those deep freezers and bring them back to life and find a solution for their illnesses. And they already have people who signed up for this service, which is very, very freaking.
Okay. So to respect the time, we will only answer one of those questions. And Ashraf, if you would,
I try to avoid very philosophical approaches to the whole topic, and you brought it to the next level.
Yeah.
Fahani, thank you. It's very deep, and it's a very, very deep way of looking at it. Again, I will have to answer you by the same approach you asked. So how I would go about that is that human life is not just about work. So if we will be replaced, this is a different topic. Yani if we're going to be replaced, it doesn't mean we should end our lives faster. If we don't want to be replaced, we should learn AI and learn how to do those things and make ourselves more marketable and more valuable in the market, in the work field. The other approach of what was the other question?
Can I interrupt you for a second? Let me just take this in because I think we're getting all of the people want to take the mics from us. If I can just speak to one last thing, because I support very much what Ashraf said. We're not created to be just working, but maybe the part of, what value do I have when my life is going to be replaced? Man, you have a lot of value, because we're supposed to love the people around us. We're supposed to be living to be good examples, because maybe you and I are privileged enough to be in a place like this where we understand AI, where we know AI is going to replace the work we do, so we're going to go online and learn and all that stuff. But actually, it's on us to take the people around us that don't know and to truly love them with our service and with our acts of service to them, to bring them with us so that they are not going to be replaced. Very, very small answer, or very, very small thing to look at, but maybe that's the purpose of it. Let's love the people around us, and again, you kind of bring them up with us.
Thank you, Mark. No better answer.
Thank you. That was such a deep, philosophical, mind-blowing talk. Everybody here was very interested, it seems like that. So we would love to wrap up the discussion with 2 certificates of recognition. Thank you so much for attending our DSC MENA and for accepting our invitation. Mr. Ashraf Bacheet. Dr. Ashraf طبعا. Mark Hanna, Mr. Mark Hanna, thank you so much. Photographers هنا. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you.